It's white to move here. Again, see the whole board. Very good. Rook takes g4, an excellent sacrifice. H takes g4, and now do you see the fork? Queen h2 check, going after the king on h8 and the rook on b8 on the opposite side of the board. White wins. Here it's black to move. What do you think? Way to go. Bishop takes c2 check. A great move, removing the defender. White has no choice but to take on c2 with the rook, and now obviously queen takes e1 check. The rook on c1 isn't guarding it anymore. Black wins the queen. Okay, in this position it's white to move. You have to combine a sacrifice, a pin, and a fork to win material. Take your time. No, that's not quite it. Try again. No, that's not quite it. Try again. Very good. Rook d takes d7. A very strong move. After bishop takes d7, what does white play? Now the point is that the bishop is pinned to the black king by the rook on h7, so it can't move. What is white's best move? Excellent work. Here white has knight e6 check, a powerful fork, winning the black queen. Again, we're training your chess intuition here. Whenever you see a king and a queen set up like this, with only one square apart, a knight fork might be in the air. Look for it. Let's continue with this position. Let's say that after rook d takes d7 check, black doesn't capture, but tries to run away instead. Let's say king b8. What should white do here? I don't want you to just play one move. Take your time. You have forced mate in 3 moves. What is it? You got it. Rook takes b7 check. King a8. Now mate in 2. We can't forget about this bishop on h1. Well done. Now rook takes a7 check is a double check. The bishop on h1 and the rook on a7 are both checking because it's discovery from the bishop. The king has to move, but of course the rook on h7 is guarding his other rook on a7. Black has to play king b8. Now what do you do? Well done. Here there are 2 checkmates. The first is rook h to b7. The king has nowhere to go. And the other mate is rook to a8 mate. This one is particularly nice because the bishop on h1 guards the rook all the way on the opposite corner of the board. And the rook on h7 cuts off the 7th rank. Black is in checkmate. White wins the game. Black's position looks rough here, but he has mate in 2. I actually used this tactic quite a bit when I was younger. Take your time. Black to move, force mate in 2. Good move. The solution to this problem is called a smothered mate. Queen g1 check is how you begin. This looks strange because the rook can obviously capture the queen. Note, the king can't capture it because the knight on h3 defends that square. After rook takes g1 though, the white king has nowhere to go. So knight f2 check is a beautiful move. Checkmate, a smothered mate. Here you can really see the power of the knight, the only piece that can jump over other pieces. Mates the white king alone. It's white to move here. This one might be difficult to spot. You have to set up a fork. Good job. Bishop b4. A very strong move. The black queen has nowhere to go but to capture that bishop. Queen takes b4. Now white to move. Do you see the win? Knight a6 check. A royal fork, hitting the black king on b8 and the queen on b4. White's going to win the queen. Because of this tactic, we refer to the bishop on b4 as being indirectly defended by the knight on c5. It's white to move here and win a pawn. You can take advantage of black's pin. Very good. Knight takes e5, a shocking and very strong move. Black has two options here. He can either take the queen on d1, which is obviously the tempting move, or he can play d takes e5. First of all, if black plays d takes e5, then white can play queen takes g4, and white's won a pawn. Sometimes you can turn your opponent's pin into your discovery. But black has a much more tempting move. After knight takes e5, what black wants to do is bishop takes queen on d1. The knight on f3, after all, was pinned. But what does white have in mind here? In this position is a beautiful mate in 2. Take your time. Do you see it? Yep, that's it. Bishop takes f7 check. The d7 square is defended by the white knight on e5, so black has to play king e7. Now mate in 1, knight d5, checkmate. A beautiful central attack. White's 3 minor pieces go after the black king and win the game. Once again, I warn you against mechanical thinking. It's very easy to see that knight on f3 and think it can never move. Always look for a way to get out of a pin with tempo. In this position, knight takes e5 turned the tables on black's pin.